In general terms, what we have internally is a 5-year plan. But personally, I think what we see and have heard earlier is, of course, that there is a revolution ongoing. I think it's what we see, especially on the valuation side, is that we tend to look backwards, so in the back mirror, and the product that we see today. And a good example is the PDCs from DHL, for instance, parcel distribution centers in the city centers, where in 2012 the banks didn't understand it, the valuers were not able to value it. So we had yields 9-10%, and the last package was sold for 5%. So what we see is a change in product, and what I've found a bit too short here in the initial presentation is we see growth on both sides. So the small part, inner city logistics, and there's a new market coming up, like the PDCs, as I said. At the same time, we see a lot of consolidation and sheds going bigger and bigger. It's also what we see at the same time. And as well, coming from Germany, it's not only e-commerce. We've seen a lot of automotive stuff happening over the last years. So BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, they're investing like hell in their new consolidation centers, GIS, JIT. There's a lot of production supply happening at the same time. So you see on both sides a growing market, and for me that's really interesting. From an investor point of view, of course, especially when you're in from the long term, and Deka is, as we are as well, you'd like to have a very flexible building, and this is of course the grand theme. Everyone wants a flexible building. At the same time, we have to recognize that there's a tenant, a user demand for build-to-suit product, and of course we have to find a way to support them in their business at the same time to stay flexible for the future. My personal or the big point for me, the most important point for me, is location. So when you pick the right location, and especially we have heard that earlier, when land is becoming more and more scarce, it's the location that will make the difference in the long term. And also multi-level story buildings, where we had a bit of a concern looking back some years, can be let when you have the right location.